Holy Santa Claus shit. Can you imagine if we had these when we were 12?
Even better. We got them when we're 40. Do you want to see something really cool?
Of course.
Just us. No rules.
Yes, what's up, guys? We are back. Wow, this is exciting. Just dropped
What's
my
going
saber.
on, Ed?
I dropped my saber, cut my foot off, but it's cool.
I dropped my saber too.
Oh man, what a wild episode! We had a couple questions answered. You know, a couple questions I still have.
Yeah, a couple new questions.
Yeah.
Holy
So
shit.
let me check out the chat here real quick.
Yeah.
It's all fresh in my head. This is awesome. This will be fun. Nobody's in the comments yet. That's fine. Okay, cool. That means we can talk for a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
Holy shit, man.
Okay, so what do you want to start off with? You want to start off with
you are in charge. Might as well start at the beginning. I don't know.
I mean, we can. Ocean Day, 16 years before, right?
Yep.
16 years before what we know of today.
Right.
And they are on a planet. I wrote down a planet name and Brendock.
Yeah, I think
Brendock.
yeah.
What's the planet?
Which they mentioned before in the.
And it does kind of look like that planet that Luke was on.
Oh, does it?
But
I thought
I'm
it looked
not
like.
sure, man.
I thought it
like
to me. That first view of it, where they were panning down that gully.
Yeah.
I thought that really looked like Aldani, where Andor was camping with.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it's the same, but nice country. I'd live there. Shit.
Oh yeah, me too for sure. There's Gary's Grills. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Gary? What's it?
Oh yeah, about 5 more minutes to watch.
Oh, you started late.
Buddy, we're about to pull the thread, right? We're about to pull the thread.
Holy shit!
Right?
Oh my gosh! Some in one word. What's your one word for this episode?
Witch. What about you? What about you?
My one word, ludicrous.
Okay. Did you like it? Did you like it? Let's ask you that first.
It actually, to be honest, it went pretty much like I expected it.
Really?
Yeah, it was definitely not surprising. And and you know, between all of the shit we've been hearing all week and all that kind of stuff, but just like, I don't know, man, just, did I like it? Yeah, it was the next part in the story. The only problem is that they didn't really need to show that episode because it happened exactly like we were already explained that it happened.
So do you kind of feel like this third one was kind of a filler in a way?
I think it was definitely a moment to like show a society with no men. Like that was pretty much, and the only thing that could make the twist later is that all of the witches being dead at the end and all that shit, was that an illusion that the witches created to make the Jedi think that they were all dead and there was no reason to be there? But somehow accidentally they did get Osha, That's the only thing that could come around later that would make it like, the witch's dark power because how does stone burn so easily? It's just,
right.
Like maybe that was all an illusion, right? Because we've seen Saul, the overall theme so far is that you can't trust your eyes. You can't trust your eyes.
Right.
They saw May die, but obviously she didn't. So maybe all of that wasn't even, maybe that really didn't happen, and it was a, like an inside job thing to make the Jedi think, oh, okay, well, they're all dead, so we'll just leave, and we'll never come back.
It seemed too cut and clean a little bit.
Yeah. But
yeah,
definitely,
I remember Soul saying, and I hate to jump to the future of what we're talking about because I know we're trying to start from the beginning.
Right,
but
right,
I hate
right.
that Soul said that he's seen May's body. He said that like the first episode.
Right, which but in here, he really didn't see it. He just saw her fall into a pit of burning rocks, apparently, that's started by apparently it was airplane fuel. Oh, shit, did I say that?
Hi, Brett.
Brett!
What's up, brother? He looks disappointed. What do you think, buddy?
They made doing something bad look so good that I found myself puzzled again. But let me explain. First of all, here's what's happening. They told us that none of the expanded universe and written stuff was canon, and now they're using it. They're using the shit out of it, and I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. The witches, I'm going to say witches of Dathomir, because that's what I think they are extremely powerful. And they had already put the mojo on May.
Right.
And Osha, they didn't get to her yet because it got interrupted. Uh-huh. So I think that's... So we're doing spoilers, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're pulling the thread.
So before I say this, at the very end, when you see May in this, like...
with all of her
Tsushima,
might.
Right? It looks like Tsushima, the freaking video game. I think that protected her. So when she fell, in some ways, maybe that's why Saul didn't use remember when he used the Force in the other episode?
Oh, yeah.
To save Osha?
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't do that for May because he knew, like, he's fast. He knows this stuff.
Right,
He grabs her. He didn't have to grab her. He could have just sat there and went like that.
Yeah, that's
I thought that too.
So, like, now it's metaphor. He saw May die, right? Metaphor. So the witches were extremely powerful in the Force, in the EU, in the written, in the video games where they used the other lore. Like, I played Star Wars Galaxies for 10 years, and the witches of Dathomir, and look what they did in Rebels with Maul. It's all about resurrections. Yep. It's all about fire. It's all about power, the Force. Sneaking in that part about you made her and I carried her. Nah, I didn't like that. But hopefully they expand on that a little more.
Well, can I just for 1 second? They must be stealing the kids, though, right?
I'm just answering to what you were just saying, though, because it's good points. Here's the other thing. Now I forgot my point. They said, the guy that was in the Force bubble said, we thought we were doing the right thing. And I think that they did slaughter all the witches. So that's what I think he thought was the right thing, because put it all together. At the beginning, she's saying, some consider it dark. She was almost saying that speech that Palpatine said to Anakin.
Oh, yeah.
Some would consider unnatural.
Unnatural.
Yeah,
she almost said that same speech if you put the pieces together, she did.
She did.
The one woman saying, you created them and I birthed them, that's how they say Anakin was made. So that process was a Sith alchemy thing.
Yeah.
Or dark magic.
They're bad guys.
It was a dark magic thing that, let's just say that, so this is before that. So let's just say that Plagueis borrowed that process from the witches handbook.
Okay.
So that's how we can get around that. That's the only time it ever happened was when Palpatine did it. So it's all kind of put together. So now what? And I'm waiting for this big mystery in this whole thing, because it's almost like they're giving it all to you and then trying to unfold it so you think it's cool.
Right.
I'm still saying that looks great. I really liked how she did the little escape, sparking the wires. Like, that's a very Star Wars thing.
She told herself to be calm. I thought that was kind of cool.
Now, there was some stereotyping with the Wookiee being a mechanic again. I mean, come on now.
Can I say one thing about the Wookiee, though? The
haircut?
Well, the haircut is whatever. But the Wookiee's costume was terrible because it was obviously just the skinny guy who plays the Wookiee in the robe with the head thing on. Why is he not big?
The headpiece looked gigantic tonight.
Yeah, it was very out of proportion. That was just that they didn't have a robe. I don't know, but that was obviously
there
the
must
actor
be like the
in the robe,
the motors inside of it to make his face move and stuff or whatever.
Dude, that was a really bad. That was really bad.
And did you also notice that tonight's episode looked very closed in and like on a stage? It looked like
except for that beginning panning.
That's it. Like last week, everything seemed like the second episode anyway looked very like movie,
a little more expansive. Yeah.
Yes, and this one seemed very like I was like, damn, where'd all the budget go?
Let me ask you a question because I don't know if you might know this, but so the Witches of Dathomir is that an older, for lack of a better term, religion than the Sith?
Dathomir was the planet.
Right.
And they were the witches coven on that planet. And they were the witches that were in Rebels.
Right. I know that. But is that in the lore, is that like an older form of force using than the Sith?
It's ancient. They don't
They don't
do.
So the Sith would have drawn from them or their
probably. Well, they work together sometimes, and other times it was strategic.
Why? In Rebels and in wherever else we saw the Witches of Dathomir, that's a race also. All the witches were the same race. And there was not one
much,
right,
Witch,
but in this in this episode in this episode there was a Twi'lek witch, right?
This was another affirmative action hiring scheme.
Well, it's not just that, but just in trying to make it make sense in a Star Wars manner. Because like the first thing I told my wife is I said, well, they must be stealing these kids, right? Because how come none of the witches are the same species? You know, where did all those other witches come from?
Ancient process where they're making them somehow in the womb.
Right, but how are they at least if they did make the twins, twins do look like the one mother, right?
When she said the ascension and you saw that symbol opening in the sky above her, she's drawing from that power and she's shooting that force into May, and it's kind of like she has to both defend herself from it harming her, but at the same time accept it to give her power.
Right. Is that also like the cosmic sperm bank? How they make the babies?
Yeah, it's kind of like two sides of a magnet where they push against each other. You know what I'm saying?
How come all the witches were different species?
That part I wasn't even noticing really. I was just.
Well, I noticed that there was.
I mean, it's exactly what I said when we were watching the preview stuff. I was like, it's a coven. It's a witch's coven. It's all female. It's a witch's coven. I didn't know. I didn't think they were going to do the Dathomir thing because their outfits are a little more like what was seen with Admiral Thrawn. I believe those were kind of in that vein too, but they were kind of different too.
No, there's no veins in that.
But area. There's always a thing in the lore with witches and magic that's not in the movies,
right?
Until now, and until when Thrawn showed up. So it's interesting to see how they're doing that because like. Did they compare notes to say, can our witches be like your witches? Do ours have to be different?
Yeah.
It was so drastically different that you're noticing, and you love the OT, and the OT didn't have no witches. You know what I mean?
No.
But it's killing me because they're saying they told us a few years ago none of this other stuff that happened outside of the movies is canon, and now that's all they're doing is using it all.
Is digging into that.
All right. Well, that way they can pretend that it was something that they came up with.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they'll put a little spin on it.
That's just this younger generation's way of doing shit.
And so the woman that wrote this stuff, it's her way of like. I don't know, whatever's cool in stuff. And I'm going to make it cool. And I'm going to include some lore. But so having the one say you made, or, we already knew this with Plagueis the Wise. And then, then we found out in the sequel trilogy later that it was a failed clone of the Emperor and all that stuff, So
what's that say?
Feartastic says, so let me understand. Osha doesn't want to be a witch, but they want to force her to be. But then the Jedi are evil children takers here. From my point of view, the witches are evil.
The witches are evil.
I don't know. It's
Anybody trying to get children to lie.
Yeah, that was already wrong.
That's
yeah.
like, that kind of makes you
it's like
fucking
when,
asshole, doesn't it?
Carrie Ann Moss. So Carrie Ann Moss shows up like we all said she would. She was like, well, you're not
Like
supposed to have children, and we don't do that with children. And like,
oh
yeah,
my
you
gosh.
do.
Right before you got here, Brett, I asked Ed, sum up the episode in one word, and my word was ludicrous.
I like that word for this.
I stomped my feet and laughed hysterically,
like
throughout most of the episode.
You talk about inconsistency with the view of everything. Like, wow, there's all, like if you're gonna make a look and keep the look. It's like we went. Episode 1 had some cool throwback callbacks, small. The next one went really big. Then this one goes small again.
Yeah.
The sets, it's like, oh, closed in and kind of claustrophobic. But like, it looked great. I didn't care for the little gold foil things, but everything looked great. I thought the sets looked cool. Actually, honestly, the sets were kind of plain. And kind of nothing in the background.
And highly combustible, apparently.
Yes.
I guess.
That was
yeah, I guess.
That planet was made of like flammable stone.
It's like apparently it's magnesium rock. It just
So like we got the bits and pieces that we were supposed to understand it was a fire, but you heard when they were running and they kind of looked up, you heard a bunch of witches gasp.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ah. And I think that was the Jedi putting the smackdown on him. Like, you might be strong with the Force, but...
Don't you think we would have heard some... I was telling Ed before you got here that because Saul has said 1,000,000 times you can't trust your eyes and all that kind of stuff, maybe those witches, that was all an illusion to get the Jedi to... Like, maybe none of that actually happened.
You know why they're dead?
Huh.
The only reason I'm going to say that they're dead is so they don't have to explain it later. They only got 6 more episodes or 5 more episodes. Otherwise, you know what I mean? Otherwise, that would be definitely a good way to look at it.
I'll be right back.
Yep. So like I don't have disappointment to say like anything negative about it or this woke stuff that's being talked about or anything, but it's like it was just weird. It was like tripping over its own feet, like the story as it went.
Did you think May was actually the one to start the fire? Because I didn't think she was going to be the one to do that until she did it.
Because she didn't want her sister to go, and then she takes her little manual or writings or drawings.
Yeah, her drawing pad or whatever.
It on fire, like to prove a point. I don't think there's any way that became this big fire in the rest of the place. I think that while those two were arguing and carrying on, this other thing was happening, and I think because it's ancient compared to the time in the universe that we know, they were prone to use more force technique that we've been seeing. Like I said, Saul could have just he already did it once. He held his hand out. He didn't
Well, maybe it took him 16 years to master that.
He didn't grab a grappling hook or all this stuff, but I'm just saying, like, instead of going for the lightsaber first, I think they would do stuff like what Anakin was, crushing throats and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I'm telling you. And the one girl said, because he said she didn't have that mark on her this morning. And they were like, you were spying on us?
Yeah, they were spying on them.
Probably, hell yeah. And they probably, and just freaking force choked them all. Caught them off guard. Because if they would have been...
That could have happened. Yeah, because it made no sense how they were all laying there dead.
If they would have been in ascension mode, they probably would have took out the young dude.
Yeah.
I think the witches faked... I think they used their magic to make it look like that. And their idea was to maybe get the Jedi to just leave and never come back because everybody was dead. But he grabbed Osha, right? Because May fell down into that pit, but she obviously didn't fall down into the pit. Fell. Well, we did see the platform, and we did see what it looked like under the platform.
Right.
But when she fell, she was magically teleported by someone.
I think because she was ascended.
I don't know.
She already had the mark, so she had this thing.
Power.
That
Yeah,
force
I
field
don't
that
know.
the force field that the same force field that the guy was using to protect himself for 10 years
Mhm.
was now around her, and is what I'm
Was
saying
Tormund.
because of that.
Yeah,
because
and
of
it was
that,
neat to find out that he was Andara's apprentice,
mhm.
Tormund.
Yeah.
Yeah, the floating man.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have there needs
Like,
to
you know
be.
what I'm saying? Like
It didn't explain anything that we didn't already know. That's for
right,
sure.
but they're
Yeah,
doing stuff
yeah.
in one episode that you're just supposed to assume going forward is a device that could be used somewhere else, and by device I mean plot armor.
Mhm.
So he had the invisible or ray shield around him. Once she had the ascension mark, it was around her for that night. It's going to be the most potent that night because, and the mom was dropping all these hints. They say we're dark and we do magic and blah blah blah, and she was really pissed off and angry. So whatever those things are based in, that darkness would have been brewing in her real strong. So when she fell, what do you do when you fall? You're like, you put out your hands, right? So she might have put out her hands like in shock, and that thing would have just been like,
Maybe.
and then
I
she
don't
woke-
think.
she
I
woke
think
up
the
in the
Ascension
Tsushima
ritual was
video
just.
game.
Yeah, I think the witches aren't dead, or at least there was an illusion that they were dead.
How
Because
many
I think
episodes?
one
Right,
of
they're
them.
witches. I mean, they
Five
can
episodes
make it
left.
look like they're dead. You know.
Yeah, I think May
They're
was
witches.
by one of them.
So now look at how much the timelines jumped around, right?
16
so
years. Yeah.
Carrie Ann Moss dies. Now she's back. The witches are dead. We're gonna see them again in the next episode.
Mhm.
It's gonna
Yeah.
have us going. What? We're gonna have to take notes.
Yeah.
We got to take notes. He's talking about the witches' coven. I don't think they're Dathomir, witches of Dathomir, but you know, she said they're a coven. I don't know what they're supposed to be. I didn't really take. I don't know. I didn't take it that that people were saying that, but we would hear something about the Force. I didn't get that at all in there.
Oh,
Well,
well,
I
the-
think that they were the thread that they were calling the thread was like our force, I believe.
Sure.
I think they just had a
How
different,
they use it.
understanding.
Right.
Of it.
Right, and the whole Anakin impregnation of
Yes.
But it could just be
Yeah.
the method. Like I said, it could just be like, it can't just be that he was the only person that happened with. It'd be learned somewhere. It came from a dark arts.
Well, she
Okay.
the like
didn't
evil
really-
stepmother out of the two, the redheaded Darth Maul stepmother or
She
whatever.
was kind of pissy. No wonder they kept running over to the
Yeah.
other one.
She said that the Jedi
Almost
would be
got canceled
upset.
there.
The Jedi would be upset with how they made the twins. Did you guys catch that part?
Exactly.
So what was that? Yeah.
They did
Because
the blood
it's
test.
dark.
So the
Dark
blood test.
Sithy shit.
They
Right,
did the blood test,
right.
so we know the midichlorians are at play here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How come when Qui-Gon does the blood test on Anakin, he rolls his sleeve up like
But only
like,
did it on his
right? But in this one, they just go right through the shirt and everything.
She's
Did
like,
you
what
notice
the hell
that?
did you do?
They're just
Well, it
like
was
right
more
through the clothing.
sanitary when Qui-Gon did it.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon lied. Remember, he told that he was checking them for infection or whatever.
Infections.
And then he tells Obi-Wan, he's like, oh, those are good.
What is that?
Those are very good. That's the
Hey,
closest you can get to a margarita in a bottle, I believe. What we got going on here?
Nice.
Water, baby.
Water.
Footbridge. It says footbridge.
Water.
He got that complimentary under the footbridge.
I got a little bit of Mountain Dew.
There you go.
No, I don't know. I thought all in all it was a filler
See?
and
Okay.
pretty
Yeah.
lame, you know.
Really lame.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was lame. It was cool to see the Wookiee in his robe, except
Yeah.
For his
except
giant
that he
head.
was so skinny.
Well, if it was a red robe, it'd been a Christmas special,
And
right?
his giant
Yeah,
head.
exactly.
When he came down
But
those steps, and looked
that
around,
obviously
man,
wasn't a Wookiee suit with a robe on it.
And
It was the
his
guy.
head, is his hair
Yeah.
pulled back or is it shaved?
No, I think
can't-
it's
I think
shaved,
it's shaved.
It looks terrible.
and then it has little tattoos on it, right?
It looks terrible, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looks
well, they're
terrible.
just trying to do something. This
If they
whole
were-
thing is
if-
about people trying to justify, they're just trying to fucking do shit that makes them feel good. And that's to get on that for just a second, I've been being told all week how this is going to make us all hate it and how this is going to be the straw that camel's back and all that.
Yeah.
And my thought is if this right? Like, let's say you're a person and you feel that you've been unjustly, fucking thought of by everyone your entire existence,
Yeah.
and so to get back at the man or the white man or whoever the fuck you're mad at, this
Man.
is what you're gonna put on, and I just think it makes people like that look even more like it seems very weak, because like this was supposed to be the pinnacle of fuck you, you fucking OT racist white motherfuckers,
I think it's gonna be the next one.
like
It'll be the
it
next
was
one.
like it was like the lamest. Like if that's your
Yeah.
fucking shit,
That's
like
what I was just gonna say too. If
I
this
feel
was
real bad for
supposed to
these
be
people.
groundbreaking and change the way of the Force and Star
Right.
Wars and path
Yeah,
and all that,
like-
it was
Unless there's a crazy twist that we're waiting
it was
for.
the weakest attempt at that, and
it was if this is woke propaganda to fucking
even did that
change
weak.
the fucking way that people think in the world, like they're doing a pretty fucking shit job, bro.
Yes.
I
mean, there's plenty of it in there we could pull and pick apart, but I don't even care because it was just done poorly.
And I agree with you, but most of those things, like the affirmative action,
that big of a deal.
Right, but that's what I mean. Even the affirmative action casting, and they have to have a society with no men. Like that's all kind of production shit. Like you were saying before, right? You have a store. If you read this, if somebody gave you a script and you read it, you'd go, "Oh, okay." There's a couple things that don't make sense or whatever, but like this mass propaganda push that we're told is in there is like it's pretty fucking weak. There might be more coming. And you know what? Let me say this real quick and I'll be quiet for a minute. But so we were told don't watch this. It's bullshit and all this kind of. So we watched the first 2 episodes and then those same people say, "Oh, well, it's episode 3." And now we've seen 3 and old heads like us are like,
people are
whatever. I'll come back for episode
by the fourth one. By the fourth one,
right? And then that's exactly right. They're gonna be like, well, no, wait for the 4th one. It's the 4th one. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck, you guys? Come on. I think it's just these people that are talking shit about this show. And I was telling my wife this today, man. It's like these are people that are probably
the way.
Yeah, it is the way. Like these people go lunatic over this shit. So normal people, when they raise a conclusion that's against it, then we will just be like pushed into the fucking realm, right? Like people won't listen to us because if you're against it, then that means you're already all these negative things, right? It's like having, it's like having fucking like when Charlie Daniels, who I like his music and shit, but like when he used to say crazy shit about the Second Amendment, right? Or like when Ted Nugent used to say shit, like Ted Nugent's fairly low key now, but when he used to say crazy shit about like the Second Amendment, and as somebody who's like into the Second Amendment, I go, Jesus Christ, like you're not helping our fucking cause. Why don't you shut up? You're not making us look good here, bro. And like I think that all these people online and all the comments on Instagram, if you go on Instagram and you get these people telling you all this shit and that you're a shill because you liked it and all that, if you go to their fucking pages and shit, they have no posts, right? They follow 10,000 people and nobody follows them because they're the fucking shills. They're the bots.
They're feeding off. They're feeding off of hate.
Right.
Is what they're feeding off hate. They want to hate. They want to hate.
Yeah. I don't even know if they're real. And then what those people do is they brainwash, right? Like if you and I disagree with this show for totally other reasons, they just put you in the camp of being like those people.
Yeah.
And our complaints aren't even
I just watched it as a Star Wars fan and I was just like, God, this one kind of sucked.
No, it kind of sucked, but not for all of it. Was
I believe it was a filler. I do. I believe it was a filler.
And I really hope that we would not have to see a filler in an 8-episode season. That really sucks.
Yeah, they did that with Book of Boba Fett too.
It gave us a couple of things, a couple more pieces of
the puzzle
story, but it's like it's almost like when you take like a speech class and you do a presentation, they say what you're gonna say it, and then tell people what you said. Those are that's the whole thing. That's the whole way to present something. Today I'm going to talk about Nike tennis shoes. The Nike tennis shoe is blah 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 blah. Go out and get you a Nike tennis shoe. You know, that's how. And they're doing like Star Wars. These two twins. There was a fire. And then hey, here's the fire. Hey guys, there was two twins and there was a fire. So here's the other thing. As a conservative-minded, traditional person watching any film or story involving women, right? I would say it's safe to assume that when you bring up witches, it's women. Okay? It's women. So in that regard, there was nothing woke about tonight other than the different races of women in the coven. Otherwise, it was women witches in a coven. Hello, surprise.
Yeah. Male witches, I think, are called warlocks, are they not? How you doing, David? Good to see you, young man.
But what I'm saying is, like, even the lesbian showrunner stuck to a traditional sex outline of what you would view. If I said witches, there's not like a guy standing there in a wig wearing makeup. You know what I mean? Like,
if they really wanted to be diverse, they would have done that.
But I'm just saying, like, it was what you would think a witch is. It was women. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't nothing there that would make you go, what the hell? No, that wasn't even the part that bothered me at all. It was kind of cool. Okay, witches, coven. All right, cool. What are they going to do? They're going to do this
We've
thing
seen that
Ascension.
in Star Wars
all right,
before.
How does that figure in with them? Oh shit, they can use the Force too. All right, let's see how they do it. All right, everything there was kind of okay. I didn't even think it was neat. I was just like, okay, that's kind of okay. Yeah, cool. All right,
acceptable. Yeah.
And then it was just kind of like, I don't know. They did something bad so well that I liked it for that. So on a scale of what did we do last week? Did we do 10?
Yeah, that's
the first two were high, so hopefully those are not the freaking highlights of this series. I mean, what are they going to tell me, that Saul did something he shouldn't have done? That's obvious.
Yeah,
they murdered these witches. Now, to Lac's point, is the big turn going to be that the witches pulled one on them and didn't die?
I think it's the only turn that there is.
Yeah, that could be.
Or was it Osha that fell and May's the one that's been that they switch roles? Is this the movie with Lindsay Lohan? And they reversed somehow? That's about it. That's about all I could see is the good girl's bad and the bad girl's good, and they switched somehow.
Well, I think we can safely say that they're not the same person now, Brett. I was on that for a while. Man.
But could they be the opposite person? That's about.
They have two different little girls playing the kids, so they're recognizably different, not just the tattoo.
But you know what I'm saying though, like who they've been telling us who they are. What if that's not who they were? Oh. Because you saw the conflict in the mothers' faces.
Yeah.
So look, is that it? You're gonna say, "Well, there's two mothers. It's woke." No, I mean the way they're telling you, the way it happens, they even said like he was the father kind of tool.
Yeah,
they did this with. Okay, you couldn't believe that Sidious made a baby without putting it in.
Right.
This is the same damn thing.
Exact same thing.
They never said there was sperm. They said it was midichlorians and playing with the dark side.
Probably the exact same way.
Witches always had a cauldron and played with dark stuff. Yeah. So it's okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I'm kind of, what's the word? I stand corrected.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what I meant by saying if this is the director and the producers, mass protest against traditional society, then like they're not, you know what I mean? Like this is not going to build this is not going to build Hitler's army or whatever. Right. You know what I mean? Like the propaganda here.
They're traditional witches. So
yeah,
it's falling short. The woke busters out there picking on that stuff. And they're going to, right? So whatever gets them the clicks.
Well, what do you think, Ed? Tell us what you think.
Yeah.
I don't see that much woke stuff in this. I'm pretty comfortable with how it's going so far. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like I'm being pressured into believing this or that. Right. You know what I mean? It seems like it's rolling smooth so far.
Right.
But again, there could be, those other Jedis, Endara and Endara, I've got them written down. Torben and the Wookiee, we didn't really see what they were doing when Soul saved her either. You know what I mean? and May might be right. Maybe they are evil because we didn't see what May was seeing either. What we seen was Soul, chasing OSHA.
Right.
Trying to save OSHA. We didn't really get to see the other side. After she lit that paper, we don't know what happened, really.
And he never really gave her an answer when she
we got to see OSHA trying to escape, through the little Yoda hole, like
he just changed the subject and said, "Would you like
episode 3?"
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah.
She's asking for answers, and he's like, "Would you like to be my Padawan?"
Well, May straight up looked at her and said, I will kill you.
Yeah. Oh, May's evil. May's evil. Yeah, she's evil.
May is fucked up.
I forget the mother's name when she messed with the Jedi's mind. Torben, right?
Yeah, her name was Mother. Was it Mother Coral, or was it the other mother?
I think Mother Coral is the horn
girl. Okay, so that just the mother, just the mama.
I forget her name. They said her name, but I think maybe it was Carrie Ann Moss's character in that Torben, because he's pissed off because they did that to him.
True. Yeah.
And they went back in there and just did a force explosion on all of them, and then
that might be why he felt so bad.
Maybe then they hurried up and put themselves in like a suspended animation thing that we'll get to the second to the last episode and they'll all wake up.
Well, because if you look at it this way, Soul is the only one who has not been by himself the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, you see the Wookiee,
the ship.
The Wookiee's in isolation basically at that ship, right? Like by himself. So he could be feeling some type of way, and he's distancing himself from the Jedi. And Dara, even though she was on that planet, like we were saying, she's kind of like she could be like the sheriff of that town. Maybe she's kind of distancing herself from the Jedi. The only one we have left is Torben, and he put himself in that solitude ghost floating thing that he was doing.
He didn't even put
10 years. Where he probably felt real guilty, him being the youngest, him being the Padawan at the time,
They say
becoming a Jedi, and thinking of, the evil things that they may have wiped them out.
They say when you go to sleep that final time that your bowels release, and he had 10 years built up.
I don't think he was eating. He was completely being. Now look, we still have not seen. Well, have we seen Torben since they saved OSHA? No. So maybe in the next episode.
You haven't seen him, haven't seen the Wookiee, and haven't.
Maybe that's how he cut his eye. Maybe they
because we still haven't seen why his eyes.
His face was jacked up, and you haven't seen Carrie Ann Moss's character.
Because the only one that seems like he's not with any guilt is Soul. Like the other three, I kind of feel like they've got something on their mind.
We're gonna see them having an argument, and the three of she is gonna command them to come with her because it's her Padawan, and the Wookiee is just gonna have to go because maybe he owes her the life debt. I don't know. And they're gonna take off, and Soul's gonna be sitting there like, man, what the hell? And then right when he decides to follow through and come in, everything would have already taken place, and that's when we see him rushing in. May, whatever.
Right. Well, they might have said, "Hey, you go find the girls. We'll take care of these."
It's. It better be something swervy because if we're figuring it out this easy, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know.
What are you scoring it?
You go first.
Me?
Whoever.
All right. So last week I gave like high 6s, 7s.
Mm-hmm.
This week I'm saying 5.
Wow, you're generous.
5 out of 10.
I was gonna say 4. I swear.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4.
And that's where we're considering the quality. Like I said, some things look good. So the sets look small, weird. The actors are cool.
I'm floating it in the 2s or maybe 3s because it's just.
So even the average comes out to be like a 3.7. So.
Oh yeah, no, the average compared to and like what is 10, right? 10 is like the OT and possibly Andor, right? Like Andor to me is like 11.5 out of fucking 10, right?
Right.
So yeah, the average is definitely low.
Last 5 minutes or last 10 minutes of Rogue One.
Oh yeah, well
that would be a 10. That would be a 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like a lot more than just the last 5 minutes.
When they finally get the videotape and then they get it out of the Blockbuster and then they're gonna get blown out.
There was a lot of Rogue One that was cool. The whole when we saw Vader talking to Krennic the first time, that was
he pulled the
nobody ever. And he
Don't
choke on your aspirations.
He gave him the tickler.
Yes.
He did the
like that. Everybody only talks about the last few minutes, but like there was some good shit in all of that.
Got him with the old.
And when they busted, when the rebels busted Jyn out of that prison, and she fucking whooped a bunch of ass, and then like that was a fucking great part too.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, there was people just say only the last 10 minutes of Rogue One, but there was more than
I was just giving an example of
yeah, there's some good shit.
Yeah,
no, I know what you're saying. I just always think that people don't give that movie a little bit more than.
I loved Rogue One. I thought it was
we
great.
got an Andor 10 over here, and then a 0 over here.
Yeah, this is not floating very high, which
Resistance would be like a 1.
I just thought as a filler episode. I think it's a filler episode.
That's unfortunate too.
The Wookiee costume was terrible, right? Like if you go back and watch the last bit of the last episode where you see the Wookiee, like he's a full Wookiee, even though he's
right.
And like it's supposed to be 16 years later, right? But Wookiees age like Yoda, right? Like it takes a while, so he should be fully grown. 16 years, he's not.
So tonight would have been 16 years before the previous 2 episodes, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
But what I'm saying is the Wookiee shouldn't look any different or older or anything because Wookiees age.
Right.
So I thought the Wookiee costume, like that was obviously the guy just wearing a robe. Because my wife said it right away. She was like, "This is the most unproportionate. It's so disproportionate." And I said, "Yeah, it looked awful. It looked terrible."
They made some changes for sure.
Yeah, that was awful. And they didn't show us anything that they didn't already tell us, right? Like if they didn't need this to be a filler, this episode could have been the actual whole story of what happened.
Yeah,
This could have been seeing the other Jedi just ruthlessly killing the witches and shit.
Do you think at this point in the Disney Plus era of Star Wars, do you think it would benefit them to do like a mini series where it's like a 2-hour and a 2-hour?
Like an old Lonesome Dove kind of a thing, made for
like
TV
a few
movie.
weeks apart. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Like Lonesome Dove or
like
Centennial.
Monday and Tuesday, special event, 8 p.m., part 1 and part 2. And then you go like 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, you do the finale or the last 2. Or the next week, whatever. Or right in a row.
I would
instead of having all these episodes that just wind up where we all go, man, like Obi-Wan, you could have edited the shit out of that and made a great 2-hour movie.
Right.
Because all the other stuff in it was just fluff and I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
But the stuff with Vader pulling down ships and sabers and all kinds of stuff going on would have been a great 2-hour.
No, they should definitely do this like they did Lonesome Dove. It should be a 2-part, 2-hour, Tuesday night at 7 and Wednesday night at 8. Watch The Acolyte.
It's
made for TV movie.
It's definitely becoming more apparent that they're trying to get you to string along your
Disney Plus
subscriptions.
Yeah, yep.
Right.
And now even more so, they're chaining you to it by doing it network style, where it's
once a week
till 8 p.m. our time.
Yeah, and it's 8 episodes, right? So if you had, because there's a lot of people who are like, well, we were talking about this last time, right? People are like, well, I don't subscribe to Disney, but I'm going to get it for this month to watch it. And they think they're pulling one over on Disney, but really you just pay.
Really Disney's,
And by the time the show ends, there's another one starting.
Right. So that's probably why they're doing it.
Movie.
They're definitely trying to keep you on the leash.
Yeah, they're trying to hook you on the thing. But for fans like us, who are going to be critical about it, it would bode better for them if they were trying to appease critics who are critically looking at it like we are. A 2-part, 2-hour Lonesome Dove style thing would bode much better.
Fun. Yeah.
Because that episode didn't have to be in it. That if they maybe the next episode will continue to be the flashback, and maybe we're not going to see what really happened until later. But they could have just as easily showed us. They could have just as easily showed us what really happened in this episode.
I thought we would pick it up with the Wookiee.
I thought so too.
Since they ended it, so that might be the next one. There will be one more big flashback episode for sure.
Oh yeah, well they have to show
because
us what really went down.
She's still after the Wookiee and Saul, so 2 down, 2 to go.
Well, either the witches faked their death, and we can't trust our eyes because we saw May die and we saw all the witches dead. So either the twist is that they're not dead, or the Jedi did murk them all. So we're still gonna get that type of flashback.
What would have made Saul say that though? Right?
What would have made him say?
What would have made him teach that lesson?
Yeah.
Obviously, he learned it the hard way at some point in his life, and I think that was he's lying to people saying he saw May die. I think his eyes deceived him.
And do you think May seen the Jedi taking out everybody?
No,
because she's got some kind of revenge thing.
The girls were together when they heard that crowd of people cry. Suddenly voices cried out.
Okay.
Right? Oh, they all looked up like, what the hell was that? And all you saw was like the floor cover or whatever you.
So if this is a trial for that, we were saying that Sith, I guess. I mean, could be a Sith's apprentice or whatever. But if this is a trial for her to kill these 4 Jedi, why these 4 Jedi?
Because they were involved in taking out that whole clan.
I would think if the Sith apprentice, the red lightsaber dude,
right?
If he is just training May and teaching her, it's an easy thing to get her to do because she already has animosity toward these people. Like it has nothing to do with the Sith, except that it's easy to get her to kill these 4 Jedi. All he wants to do is kill
these
Jedi.
4 anyway because they took her sister, basically.
It's just like when Sidious.
Think he's a Sith anymore. You know why?
Why?
Because of the use of alchemy and magic. He could have just been learning that stuff from the witches.
Well, what about the red lightsaber?
He could have taken one off somebody. I don't know. I'm starting to think because Sith has never even been brought up yet.
Right.
No, because they don't know anything about him.
And I'm just wondering if this is even anything to do with Sith yet.
I don't know. I think it's like how Sidious got Anakin to really turn was he kept talking about I can help you.
Yeah. Mind. Yeah.
Well, Dooku could throw force lightning, but he never had yellow eyes.
What are you talking about?
Dooku could throw force lightning like Sith, but he never had yellow eyes.
Well, the backstory with Dooku and Sidious is he was never really trying to be the dark side either. Dooku's plan was to get rid of Sidious also.
Yeah.
And bring about a whole different type of thing to the galaxy.
But he was tapping into dark energy too. So I don't know, man. I definitely buy into what you have said before about there's another somewhere that we don't know about.
Well, can Jedi do force lightning as well? Because I know I remember Yoda was kind of repelling
he could throw
Dooku's lightning.
He could throw it back.
But if you think about it, Rey also she had a lightning come out of her hands. With the ship that supposedly Chewbacca was in that he wasn't in, if you guys remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Was that after she became part of the dyad?
Okay, I mean that could be something too. That could be
a true Jedi.
But you know, Kylo was shocked. If you remember when she did that, Kylo was like, "What the hell is that?" They're giving
us a little bit of that sequel stuff too, because when those girls locked hands to repel, that's a dyad too. Becomes
it's true.
Musical. It's a dyad. You know.
No, a real Jedi cannot use Force lightning. You have to tap into the dark side, just like in Rebels. After Ezra hung out with fucking Maul too long, and you remember he like summoned that big evil creature, and it freaked out Kanan, right? It's because and like that's the thing with the Bendu, right? And like that's what Dooku's thing was, and even Qui-Gon. If we just saw his story more. The Jedi it's yin and yang, right? So the Jedi are doing their thing, but it's not the full potential.
Not offensive most of the time.
Right. It's not the full. And then the dark side does their thing, but it's also not the full potential because the dark side eats you alive and it turns you into, right? But then there's this idea of the Bendu in the middle, which is where Dooku and Qui-Gon, and that's where those guys were kind of coming from. Why not? And Mace Windu also, like Mace Windu had that style that most of the masters didn't approve of, because that was supposed to be only achievable through the dark side. But
yeah.
but if you're strong enough in your mind, right? It's like
You
the
can-
dude who puts
yeah.
down cigarettes and says, "Oh, I'm never smoking again," and doesn't.
That was
Right?
me.
You have to be a whole nother level,
I
to
did it.
be able to master and use both things, and to use dark side magic or whatever, and it not affect you. You have to be a whole different level of being in your
How
brain.
about when the show started tonight, though? I thought Ed sent that into them, and I thought them two were gonna straight up be like,
Hello,
motherfucker. Because she was like, May, Osha?
Yeah.
I said that to myself when they
At the
fucking said
beginning,
it. I said,
I
"Hello."
thought,
I said that out
They're
loud.
gonna do
Yeah,
it. They're gonna
yeah.
do it. May.
They're gonna do it. They
Yeah.
totally ripped off Ed. Yeah.
I
love it. I love it.
It was as a Star Wars fan, and not even bringing the idea of wokeism into it. It was a filler episode.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it wasn't.
I could see it opening itself up into some woke stuff if they wanted it to, but I don't feel like it is, so I'm not even worried about that.
Right.
It's
If
just-
this is the pinnacle, because we were told by all these other people, oh, episode 3 is going to change your fucking world, and you're never going to look at it again the same, and da-da-da-da-da, and like...
Yeah, there's
Yet
definitely
again,
something
those
I'm
people
missing there
missed.
because I'm not looking
Yeah.
at it like that. I'm not
Yeah, I'm
looking
not-
for it. So
Right, and I
I'm not
know
seeing
that they're
it.
going to say, oh, 2 women made a kid and all this kind of shit, but like Anakin was made
But
through the
the
Force.
way they explained
So-
it was the same
Yeah,
shit.
they even
so
asked. Yeah. Yeah.
it didn't bother me because they explained it. Now, if they wouldn't have explained it and just said, well, you created her, I carried her, I would have been like, what the hell is this?
Well, and then
It was the same
like,
story. It was the same
could
thing.
it be? You also have the cloners, right? So like, if nobody explained to you, if they said, well, I created it, but you carried it. Okay, well, that could still come from other kind of technology,
but I mean-
right?
Right.
Like
Right.
the clones are grown in these tubes, right? They are test tube babies, and the test tube is there because you don't have access to like a womb,
I mean, what
right?
if-
So if you
what
have
if
access to a womb, maybe you don't need the test tube.
What if the next
So-
Right.
episode goes back to when they did that and Darth Plagueis
Yeah.
is over there with his Padawan
And they're,
Sidious? Well,
I
Sidious
mean,
wouldn't be born, but
We know Anakin.
what if it's
was-
Plagueis?
Yeah.
And
Well,
he's over there in
Plagueis
the
would be
background,
like what?
Taking notes. Like, wait a minute, what'd she do? Put your
Plagueis
finger in
was
what?
born between.
Spoonful of sugar. Okay.
Yeah. Plagueis was
2
supposed to
grams
be
of
born
flour?
between like 128 and 147 BBY. So he would be like between whatever that would be, right? This is supposed to be like a 116 BBY. So Plagueis would be like what, between 18 or 15
He
and
could have
30.
been an apprentice
So-
of another Sith.
Right. Yeah, that guy that we see with
that
the
goes into
lightsaber
your
could very well
theory.
be Plagueis.
Yeah.
That goes into your theory that there's somebody else, and then they're supposed to make the apprentice kill them. That's like the ultimate takedown, or
Yeah.
to graduate, you have
Mhm.
to take them out.
Right.
So maybe we're gonna see some cool tie-in with that. I'd be fine with
Which
that.
is
but
why
I don't think they're gonna
Sidious-
play it that smart.
Which is
I
why
don't have faith in them.
Now that's the other thing. Yeah, yes, you can't. There's two. I don't expect a lot of that because I think the people doing this are not that into it to
They're
get
just
it.
not.
But
They don't think
what
that
you
stuff's
just
cool.
said, that's why Plagueis, right? Like that's why he abandoned Maul, and that's why he let Anakin kill Dooku, because Dooku was about to fuck up Sidious, and
He probably knew
Dooku
he
was
could.
not a full blown dark side person.
Right.
He
And
was
probably
really
knew that he could.
right, and
Do it.
Dooku was literally like the only person in the entire Clone Wars who was like actually fighting for the true free galaxy. You know, he wasn't trying to
Yeah,
become
in that
an
regard,
emperor.
he was a true separatist.
He was a true separatist, right?
was
He
not-
truly was
He wanted
fighting
nothing to
for
do
the
with
free-
either side
yeah.
of that.
And Sidious couldn't handle that. And after Anakin is all fucked up, right? Because like Anakin can't use Force lightning because you can't supposedly you can't do Force lightning out of not real hands,
Right.
you know. And so he knew that Vader would never become powerful enough to actually overtake him, except I guess throwing him down the
Because he
fucking.
lost. They said he lost all a bunch of midichlorians by losing the limb.
Yeah.
So it dropped his power rating from way above to just below. So,
Right, and that's why Sidious was more along the lines of allowing him to continue for so long. But even like in the comics and different shit, you know, Sidious was constantly sending people after Vader, you know, to fuck with him.
Yeah.
So
I got a bail, boys.
I give the episode like a 2. It was kind of a
we're
filler
looking at like an overall 3.5.
Overall, yeah. Is that
Yeah,
the
that's
average?
Between the three of
right.
us,
Yeah.
between the three of us, it comes out to about a 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
Which is a
What do
big
you do?
drop.
You times them and divide it by how many?
I don't know,
Is that
but
how
it
you
just
do average.
just the way
It's been
we're
a long
all
time
talking,
since I've been in school.
The way we're all talking, we're kind of we want it to do well, and we were let down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm gonna watch the 4th episode.
It's not over yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fourth one's gonna have us putting on lipstick, so
who knows? I think this episode was fairly ludicrous.
Well,
it was
just
slow. It really didn't give us any information that we didn't already have.
Yeah, that's the toughest part is they gave us so much, man.
Yeah, and then even with the trailers and stuff, you know, like we knew there was going to be witches, and the biggest surprise was in the very beginning when we realized that May and Osha already had Force abilities. That were
right at the very beginning with the
prevalent as a child,
right? Because that's not a normal Jedi thing, right? Like the
Right.
Jedi, when they find kids, it's because the baby like is more like Grogu, like the baby accidentally does something.
Power in the two, power in the many, which is not a Sith thing. So like, this is something that's obviously been tried through this millennia.
Right. That was some terrible acting.
She was like, if we can't let them know you did this, like that was almost like it's saying it was like this ancient ritual thing that made the kids, right? So that, to me, that was explained very simply.
Yeah.
There was nothing else to that. So, if they've been doing this, they got to hide the kids. Well, the Jedi probably didn't know that's how they were made yet. They probably still don't. That's probably the secret that they don't know yet.
Well, they probably think they stole them because that's the first thing I thought.
They found them, or whatever.
When I saw that all the witches were different species, then that like immediately I said, "Oh well, these witches, whoever the first witch was, because they can't make babies, obviously, with no men there, right? Women, they must be stealing the kids.
Witch trafficking.
Yeah. Have you guys been watching the what is that? Tales of the Empire, the short?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay, in the
characters again.
Okay, well, in the first episode, it has to do with the witch chick that we saw with Thrawn and the witch chick we saw in Mando, and she's a witch of Dathomir, right? But so when in that episode, Ed, not to totally spoil it for you, but the first episode is Grievous and the clone, the robot army, the droid army, are on Dathomir, and they're killing all the witches, right?
Okay.
But the chick, I can't remember her name now, but the chick with the spear that Mando gets her spear.
Mando fights, yeah.
She gets away, but she's on her planet, and she is found by another group of witches, right? And
those are the Dathomir witches.
Well, I mean, they're like a different tribe.
They are the ones though with the tall hats and stuff, and and can bring you back to life. They did that with Savage Opress and everything. Those,
but I thought
those are the ones that are the shit, evil shit. The green.
Those that fix Darth Maul, fix his legs.
Yeah, those are the dark ones. But
see, I remember them being like the ones that the girl was from. But there are a bunch of Dathomirian witches of different tribes.
Right. And if they were going to go on a power curve, they would be the most strong. That founder,
if they survived, right? And that's what this group, I think, are still Dathomir, because she says since we went into hiding, you know. So there obviously was some other kind of. I mean, if you're a world of witches, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have it out for your ass, right?
It definitely puts a different cog in the wheel talking about the witches, and because she said, you know, they see it as dark magic or dark or whatever, dark force use or whatever. So we don't know what they're aware of out there at this point in history. Yeah. But
well, they seem pretty shitty and evil to me.
Beardtastic says something about Yoda showing up, but the showrunner swears up and down Yoda's not showing up in this. So.
We're supposed to not see Yoda.
I think what we're gonna see before we see Yoda is probably some Sith, probably a Plagueis or somebody.
I'm excited to see you open that Moss, man. That's going to be pretty sweet.
I am going to do a review video like tonight so I can get it posted tomorrow. And
That's cool.
I was really I might do a review video just for my channel on this episode, but it's just like, I don't know. It was just filler, and it brought the whole thing down. There was really nothing in it that this episode, unlike the first two, man, you got a fight right off the bat, which you can pick apart the choreography. It wasn't the greatest, but it was still kind of cool. And there was shit in the last two where you went, oh Wookiee, and you went, oh wow, he's floating in a force field. Like, there was cool shit. This one, I found myself the entire time waiting for the cool shit.
Yeah.
And there was none. And so that is the biggest letdown. That this was just a total, And I was also anticipating all the fucking people. Like, there was somebody who told me, well, I know what happened in episode 3 and why everybody's going to freak out. You want me to tell you? And I was like, no, don't tell me. I want to see it. And I was waiting for that. I was waiting for like this big mind-blowing woke. I'm gonna tear the TV off.
Some people are just full of shit, dude.
And like, it never
happened. You know what it started? It was
like some people are just full of shit. They don't know. You know what I mean? They're just saying
it's
they're
propaganda
trying
to get us to watch.
They did a screening of the first 4 episodes in a theater a couple different times for like some of these reporters or whoever, and there were guys that got in to see it and said by the 4th one you're gonna hate Star Wars. The new Star Wars, the Disney Star Wars. You're not going to watch it anymore. If you're OT, you'll never watch it again, and blah blah.
Well, they told us that about
so I guess
almost
we got
every
one more to
fucking
go.
show.
I've got one more to go.
Yeah,
I got to run, but we'll have to do something tomorrow, brother. I'll hit you up.
I'll be there. I'm free tomorrow, so you can make the link. We will continue the conversation and rehash some of it on.
Ed, if you can make it, brother, I'll send it to you too.
Yeah, we've got a barbecue to go to tomorrow. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do my own live tomorrow, but I want to do something tonight. So
cool, man. Thanks for.
We'll see how it goes.
Appreciate you.
Brett, I'll see you under the East LaPorte Street footbridge later.
See you later. I got a coupon.
See you, Brett. Take care.
Okay, see you, Brett. Love you, brother.
See you, buddy. Well, I won't keep you too much longer, Lack, because I got to work tomorrow. But I want to show you something pretty cool.
Yeah,
I was going to show Brett too, but I know he's kind of in a rush.
Did you get all your thoughts out on the show?
I believe so, man. I believe so. We definitely know one thing that we did definitely figure out is May is definitely evil.
Oh yeah,
she's evil. You know what I mean? Like, because I was kind of feeling like some type of way the past couple episodes before was, she's evil because of something. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
because of the Jedi or whatever. But she done made that decision before the other witches were even.
She came out of the oven fucked up.
Yeah, she's like, I'll kill you then. Like, whoa, wait. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love you and you're the best and you're my twin, but I'll kill you.
We're the same, but I'll kill you. It was like, whoa, wait. I wasn't expecting none of that.
She was fucked up from the word go.
So if we learned anything, from this episode is that May, she's evil.
Evil. You don't want to be cheering for anything that has to do with her side.
No.
And like the witches that raised her, they're like, well, some people think we're bad. And like, no, motherfucker, you're bad.
She was bad for sure. Yeah. She, right. I mean, she's like, you've got to lie. You've got to do, all that was, all
well,
that.
And that's why I think the witches weren't even killed by the Jedi. And maybe they made an illusion. Like, how they took over the guy, his eyes look black.
Yeah.
Corbin,
I think is his name.
Corbin, yeah. Like the witches could have taken over the Jedi, made them do something bad, and then pretended to be dead, and it's all a farce because like they're evil motherfuckers.
Oh, they could have done something to make the Jedi look evil.
Yeah. And Corbin may believe that he did something wrong when he actually didn't.
What's up, Cat?
Yeah. So that's the only mystery left, and that's the only mystery that this brought up is, the Jedi may have not even done anything wrong. They may just think that they did.
Gilster says, Rebels, no rules on a Tuesday. Yeah, I probably won't be able to do a live tomorrow, and I want to do something tonight, and me and Lack and Brett were like, let's do this. So do a little something quick tonight, and I appreciate you guys showing up.
Me and Brett are going to do another show tomorrow, so and hopefully you can make it. But if you
I would love to, man. I don't know.
I know you're
for
doing
sure.
But if you end up doing your live, just let us know so we won't
No,
know,
no.
because I told Brett, I was like, last time when he moved it, he was like, well, I don't know, and this and that. And I said, motherfucker, I want to watch Ed's live. I don't want to be live when Ed's live because I want to go see Ed.
I don't think I'm gonna have time to go live at 6 because I get off at 4:30 and I work 4:10s.
Right.
And we're supposed to go to a friend's barbecue unless that doesn't go through.
Okay.
And if that's the case,
just keep me posted
we
can schedule our thing because I don't want to be.
Yeah. No, you guys go ahead. You guys go ahead and schedule, man, and I'll work around whatever if I do anything.
Okay,
no big deal. Sure. You guys got it. You guys are Rebel Wednesday this Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll do whatever. But yeah, you're gonna show me something. I have a couple things to show you too.
I have a few Mythic Legions. I think I have like 6 maybe so far. Yeah. I don't have a whole lot. But this one Blue Eyes has been after for a while. This is her first Mythic Legion. And this is something I got her for her birthday along with some other things. But check this out. Let me make myself large.
Yeah, make yourself big.
I haven't opened it yet. But she's like a vampire.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah, doesn't she look cool?
Is that a new one or is that like an older one?
It's an older one, actually, and it's one that she's been wanting. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and every time my buddy's store had it, he sold out of it, so it's hard to get. And this one day he had it last week, and I snatched it.
Is that like a snake thing in the back?
Yeah.
A translucent snake?
Yeah, it's like a translucent blue snake.
Wow.
There's like a translucent blue thing. She might be like a witch. I don't know if she's like a witch or she's like a vampire. I'm not sure.
She does look cool. Yeah, man, the Mythic Legions, when they get like past their run or whatever, they are fucking hard to find, and they are expensive.
And they're expensive, and I get it. They're expensive, and they're hard to find. But we collect. We like Mythic Legions, but we just collect the ones we really like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to collect the whole run or anything like that.
No, I'm not. I was into that. I got the Moose and the Headless Horseman, and then those 2 horses that I put, the Flame Horse and that.
Yeah, the Vader and the Boba Fett.
Yeah, and I have that bear on pre-order.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, I don't know, like maybe I was just raised too much in the church and shit, but like I can't have a bunch of little demon figures. Like I feel I'm like, no, when the rapture happens, I'm not gonna have a bunch of
I'm trying to get all the He-Man like ones. I've got like the Moss Man, Mythic Legion, and I've got the Stratos Mythic Legion.
Yeah, I remember you showing
that. There's what is Manny Faces? That one just came out. I'm gonna try to get that one. He looks really cool. That's from the Cosmic Legions.
Yeah, the Cosmic line, yeah.
Yeah, those look really cool too.
I was watching Darth Blaze did Mythic or 4 Horsemen. They had a stream a few weeks ago, and I was watching it on. Darth Blaze had like a watch.
Oh, cool!
Live,
Cool.
I was watching it kind of with him, and they had the new line's pretty cool, man. They have like some Archangel things, and some the skeletons are really cool. I'd like to have some.
The skeletons are great.
But I just need the naked ones. I don't need all the.
Me too. I think they look awesome like that.
Yeah.
Just to sum up this episode, like I've been taking notes, right, with names and everything. And this is like I wrote down all their names and stuff. And I hardly wrote down anything by any of the main characters because nothing really happened.
Exactly.
And I mean, if that doesn't explain this episode, right there, nothing. You know what I mean? Like I got all their names down. Like, okay, well, if we learn something new about this person, I'll write it down. Yeah, because my memory sucks, dude. Like if I think about it for a while, like tomorrow, I'll be able to remember more of it. But it's like my short-term memory, I've got to write it down a little bit.
Yeah, when you have a reaction video. When you react to something initially, and then like even the last 2 episodes, like after thinking about it, you come up with a few other things, you say, well, this I actually liked more than I thought I did, or this actually was pretty shitty, so it's, which is good, right? Because like, what's that wise saying, like if you can't change your beliefs, then there's and like that's what we hear all these people before the show even comes out. People are like, oh, it's this, it's that, and I still like I don't try to troll people, but like I get these comments and like the other day they said, well, the 3rd one is what's gonna piss you off, and the first thing I say, oh, have you seen the 3rd one? And
exactly.
People go, well,
how do you know?
They say, no, I haven't seen it, but I heard. And I said, well, what the fuck do you know? What do you fucking know?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they want. I hate preaching it, but like they want to believe that hate exists. You know what I mean? Like they want that, negativity. I mean, we need to just accept it as Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's no way you can change it.
Now,
There's
this
nothing we can do
episode
to
I thought
change it,
was
you know
kind
what
of
I mean?
shitty,
Yeah.
but not for all the reasons I was told it was supposed to be.
No, I mean, I'm gonna watch it again. You know what I mean? I'm gonna.
Oh, I'm in it for all 8.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Because like I want to know, and like I was telling my wife, because we were discussing like how people hate it and everything, and I said, if this was written down as a book, and there was no casting to look at, if you didn't realize that like there was not one like white Jedi boy in the classroom, right? If you just read it, you'd be like, oh, I'll finish this, and then that's it, like there's no all this shit that I'm being told. I just don't see it, and I will call that shit when I see it, like I have kids and there's certain things that I don't think should be around certain age groups and like on Disney and shit like that. And like, I'll be the first motherfucker to call a spade or whatever the saying is.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm not
seeing much either. I mean,
if this is like the giant woke push to change society, they need to get a new propaganda guy, because this is not, it's not doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's a non-issue so far,
I believe the same thing too. Yeah.
But I thought the episode wasn't that great. It was a filler. It was just something to stretch out the thing, because we knew everything that we knew. We saw exactly what Saul told us, except that we found out, well, he didn't. Now he saw her fall into that pit, and like anybody would say, yeah, I watched her die, because there's a big ball pit of, we all thought the Emperor was dead when. When Vader threw, we all thought Maul was dead when he got cut in half and fell down in that thing, but apparently not. So,
right.
But that's a realistic thought, I don't think he's lying about that,
Yeah.
But
it was either you or Brett, like when we first started this, was saying that Yord. Remember the guy said I don't like that Yord guy?
Yeah.
Remember him?
Yeah.
One of you guys was like, well, he might be the good guy out of the whole thing. Remember, like the hero.
Yeah.
Well,
and he very well could be.
Because OSHA and him kind of like grew together. Remember, because he was like a full Jedi master now. Remember, she hits him on the arm. She's like, "Oh, I get," like they must have grown up trying to become Jedi together. Yeah. Before she quit. So we'll probably see some of that backstory too. Yeah. And if Soul and Indara and Tormund and the Wookiee, if they're all bad. If they are, Yord might be the hero of it all.
And we know the one thing about Yord that we have seen is that he is by the book, and he is pure Jedi.
Yeah.
So if he determines that one of those other people are on the fence about their Jedi-ness or whatever, he will be the one to bring justice.
I'm hoping out of the 4 that Soul is not bad.
I don't think he is.
Because, dude, like, the genuine. First off, I want to say he's a great actor. I like him a lot.
Oh, he's best
actor. I just read something recently that he learned how to speak English for this series.
Yeah, I read that too.
And I think that's awesome. So, applaud him.
He is the best actor in this show.
Yes, and when he's helping OSHA, when he's got her by the hand, and he's pulling her up. Which, like you said, he could use the Force or whatever. But there was genuine, like, the way he was acting, there was genuine care. Like, he cared for OSHA. He wanted to save her.
And that hug at the end?
Yes.
That looks pretty fucking real to me.
I told Blue Eyes, I was like, I was even like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, that's cool. Like, he wants to help her. You know what I mean?
He's a great
actor. He's a genuine, a good person. You know what I'm saying? Out of the 4, we don't know much about Indara or, the Wookiee or Tormund. I think it's his name, Tormund.
Yeah, the floating guy.
Yeah, I kind of think he was just a Padawan stuck in a bad situation.
Yeah. When we saw how young he was, that was my first thought.
Yeah.
I said, oh, it's and to me that also I said, well, it's understandable how much guilt he could have because he was so young, he may not understand shit. But that's the other thing is he could have so much guilt for something that a wiser person, older in age, may have been able to say, well, like it was us or them, or like it was a war, motherfucker. Like what, you know what I mean?
And also, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that him being so young puts another twist on. He may not be real sure what happened either.
Well, out of those four, he was the easiest manipulated because if you remember, he's the one the witches got a hold of.
Yeah.
Right. So he's probably the weakest in the force. I mean, Padawan, of course.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, boom, like eyes went black and he dropped. It's like, whoa. You know what I mean? So he was obviously the weakest one out of the four.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he may feel pretty guilty,
Yeah.
About not being able to help whoever or whatever,
Yeah, his guilt, when we watched the last two episodes, his guilt made me go, oh, well, shit, they must have really done something bad. But now that you see he's so young, you think, well, he might just think that they did something bad, because we all know how your mind works when you're young. And then when you get, and I'm sure we've all beat ourselves up over decisions that we made. But then as you grow with age, and it's just like this hate, once you grow to a certain level, you go, we have to move forward and we have to do the best that we can and learn from the fuck ups that we had.
For sure.
And that's not something that he was able to do because apparently he was still, even when he killed himself, he was still pretty young, and if you, and if you've ever done something, like I can attest to this personally, if you've ever taken part or done something that was really bad, 10 years, sometimes it fucking takes that long.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes that long. And look at Obi-Wan, he was in the desert living in a cave, punishing himself. So, I mean, that's a real human condition,
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, if you're a good person and you do something bad, you're going to feel like that.
Exactly.
Obi-Wan's good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure the Tory guy was good.
Right. He just
I'm curious about Endara Trinity. And I'm curious about
when I first saw her in that bar, I don't know what it was, but being in the corner of the bar, hanging with the scuzz buckets, I thought, she's like,
she's secluded.
She doesn't seem like she's maybe secluded and she's off the radar, but she doesn't seem guilty.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel the guilt, I don't think. She may not be the coolest Jedi in the bunch.
Right.
So. But
it's enjoyable. I mean, for us to talk about it, like this, it's enjoyable. I mean, we're having a good time. It could be better. This last episode could have been a little better,
I haven't laughed so much the whole episode. I was just laughing, and then I just kept waiting for the fucking boom to be lowered. And nothing, talk about
it's like
all these...
This episode was like going up a hill on a roller coaster and there was no drop.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly.
What's next? When's it coming?
Yeah. Whether it's the stuff that we're supposed to be mad at or something cool in the show, none of it ever happened for me.
Yeah. Basically, the only thing I learned today, besides witches, was that May is an evil little girl.
Yeah,
because I was not expecting it to go down like that.
Oh, she's nasty. Yeah, and for her to be like that, it's safe to say that the Jedi maybe didn't have to do anything to make her. This whole vengeance. I'm going to kill these Jedi. It might not be because they set the fire and they killed all the. She had a problem. She was ready to kill her own twin sister in the blink of an eye.
True.
So
yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that movie. You're right.
And then why? And so now she wants to kill them, but it can't be necessarily because they took my sister. They took my sister, and she's dead, and they took her because she was ready to kill her sister in a heartbeat. So she can't be mad as all of a sudden she loves her sister again.
Yeah,
and she wants to avenge her sister's taking or whatever. Like, I don't. That wouldn't make much sense because
Do
she's ready.
you think the witches? Do you think the witches cared much for May since there wasn't two? Because the whole idea they show you, the whole idea of two is stronger than one, right?
Yeah,
they were showing us that they had the
yeah,
two push and all of that to show you that two were stronger than one. Well, when
right,
it came down to only May being one, well,
right,
hell, she's just like all of them. So what does it
right.
matter?
And if they made two of them as twins,
Right.
probably thinking, okay, well, if two of us who are unrelated, which we know they are because they're all different species, if we get two that are the same, then we will have like a super weapon. And then,
right.
yeah, that isn't actually a great point. If the witches did live, they probably weren't as hot for May because
So they could have played dead and let
yeah.
May think they're all dead.
Yeah, and
then they could have took
they
their
don't
coming
need her
somewhere
now.
else. They could have took their coming somewhere else, like we're out,
Yeah,
we
because
don't
they
need
don't
her.
need one. They would probably just go somewhere else and try to make another set of
Do it
twins
again
through the Force or however they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, because they made a big point about those two were stronger than one. Because at the end of the day, May's just like all the other ones that are standing around,
Right, exactly.
Yeah, just one.
Thing is the point of making them.
Yeah.
So no, that's actually I didn't think about that until you said it, but that is a extremely good point.
Yeah.
May is no real use to them now.
Not now.
Without
Not
her
now.
twin.
Yeah.
Son of a gun. That's a good point, Ed.
Yeah.
Shit. I never thought of that. Yeah, because they could abandon her. She may not know anything about what happened. She just because the witches may have just left her there and wanted her to think they were dead too.
Exactly.
They're in fact not actually dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would just be because
she's just another one. Yeah,
they can just go make more apparently.
Yeah.
So because they know how to do that, so they would just try again. They'd have to just wait around and cook some more in the oven, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I got some pickups I'm going to show you real quick.
Yes, please do. Let me make you big real quick.
So for those of you left in the chat who's not Ed, because I sent Ed a picture, I found this.
That is so cool, yeah.
This is the TMNT Motu crossover.
Now, each one of those ones that are like $25, they've got parts where you can build a figure.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of parts in here.
And so there's a part for each one of them, and they build, I think, a Roboto, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll find that when I get in here. But yeah, he has like a lot of. Oh, here's.
I love that. Yeah, how you can see through them is badass.
I'm getting confused on the camera. Here is all the shit I can see in there.
Yeah, he's got
like a big fly trap and stuff.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And like, I'm not a huge Motu collector, but you know what I am a sucker for? Translucent shit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'll look for a review on that. I'm excited about that. And
what? Go ahead. There's a He-Man. There's a He-Man's kind of translucent too, and there's a Ram Man.
I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, I've got them.
Yeah, I know that you have them, and I see them. That's like the first wave. A bunch of people have them, but I haven't seen them. They had the Shredder, and they had the Raphael, and they had the Beast Man with the samurai helmet.
Yeah, he looks cool. Yeah,
and he looks cool, but I want the samurai helmet to paint it black and then put it on a Vader.
Wow!
That's the only reason I want it.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'll look at it right now. I gotta hang it up. That'd be cool.
And then look, I got this is the Rose.
Yeah.
And like I totally got this for a custom. If I can find a Destro for cheap, I want to put the Destro hands and head on.
Yes, that would be awesome, bro.
Yeah, I think that would be really. So this is totally custom fodder I bought this for.
Yeah, that'd be very cool.
I think the silver Destro hands and
oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Sick on this, wouldn't it?
That'd be awesome.
And then for more custom fodder, I ended up getting the.
That's a good looking Duke.
Yeah,
that's a good looking Duke.
I've looked at him a million times, and I always put it down. And today I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get it.
I've got him too, and I have flirted with opening it. I'm thinking about opening it, but I don't know. It looks so good on a card bag.
Yeah, it does look cool. But you know what? If you open it and you regret it, it seems like there's a lot of these. So I think you get another one. But I'm going to do all the Howling Commandos, right? And this guy's head would make a good There's a guy in it that was called Rebel, and he was blonde headed, and I thought that would make a good head. Plus any generic, kind of body. And then I also picked up the
Ricardo.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then like this head is definitely going to be, once I find the right body, that's definitely going to be Wyatt Earp, like Kurt Russell's.
Oh
Wyatt
my
Earp.
God! Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, totally. Kurt Russell's Wyatt Earp, right there.
Definitely.
So I just have to find probably one of the Samuel L. Jackson Nick Furies where he's got the long trench coat and shit.
Yeah. Like
all you need is that and a different hat, and bam, you got Kurt Russell.
Well, I love your Nick Fury customs, dude. Those are freaking sweet.
Oh, thank you.
I like how you use the Snake Eyes body. I like how you use the General Hawk body.
Yeah.
Those are tight, man. You did a good job. Now, what's the black trench coat one? Is that the Spider-Man? The black?
Yeah, that's that Spider-Man Noir.
I thought it was. Looks sweet, dude. You did a good job.
That is creative. Now the coat on that Spider-Man, like it's static.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of limited to posing, but much like I'm sure the rest of us, right? Like I get him in a cool pose and I put him on I have my Nick Furies on these like small 4-inch shelves on like a pedestal in my house.
Yeah.
And so like, I just set them up and they look cool and I look at them and I go, man, that's fucking cool. And then, whatever, every once in a while I change him up. So like, but he has limited posability. I did get a trench there on eBay. You can get a wired fabric trench coat that replaces that one. And I got it and I was going to take the hard plastic coat off of that one. But then that's why I ended up getting that Snake Eyes body.
Yeah.
And I'll put that wired trench coat on the Snake Eyes body because it's basically the same kind of, it's like, like an armored look with the trench coat on. So that's why
now, Nicolas Cage did the voice for that Spider-Man, right?
No, I didn't know. No, I didn't know that.
And Nicolas Cage is going to do a live action of that Spider-Man on Amazon. It's coming.
Oh, really?
It'll be a series.
I'm in it for Nick Cage.
Yeah, me too.
You remember Con Air?
Oh yeah, love Con Air.
So in that film, they used at least 2 planes for that film, right? Okay. And the one they blew up, and the second one that they kept as a plane to do all the shots of it flying. After that film, they auctioned, whatever that was, Paramount or whoever, but they sold that plane. And I think so somebody bought it, and then another guy, I think the guy I knew bought it not from the production company, but he was the next guy that bought it, right?
Right.
So when I used to guide in Alaska, I worked for this guy, and he had a buddy that we called Wild Bill, and he flew in all of the big important shit because it was fly-in only.
Yeah.
But Wild Bill's plane was the plane from Con Air.
No way. That's
and
insane.
it had the same tail number. He had an autographed picture of when you went inside the plane, on the wall was a giant poster of Nick Cage signed. And he was standing on the tail of the plane, so you could see that it had the same numbers, like NC 107. I can't remember it. But I used to help Wild Bill load and unload, and a few times he would break down and shit, and I would help him fix that plane. And
dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's so cool. I used to hang out on that plane and fly around, and like you could drive a whole Toyota truck. We had a Toyota truck out there, and Wild Bill like flew it. Me and the guy went to town in his little 206 Super Cub, bought a Toyota. Then we had to call Wild Bill, drive to the airport, and drive the Toyota truck up into it was called Large Marge when he owned it.
So did you ever fly in the plane?
Yeah.
So you flew
I
Con
flew
Air.
in it, helped him work
you
on
flew
it.
Con Air.
It was so, yeah, it was cool.
All you need is the long hair, and you kind of look like Nick Cage.
Man, it was awesome. And then I was probably like, I was like maybe 17 to 19 when I guided in those years. Well, years later, when I was like 26 or 28, I still lived in Alaska, and me and my brother Henry, we were hiking on one of the biggest mountains in Alaska near Denali National Park, and we were way up on the top of this mountain having a ceremony, and we hear a noise, and we see this plane coming across the sky, and the engine is smoking, right? And I tell Henry, I say, and I can't remember what they called that plane. They called it a baby Hercules. It's not a C-130, but it's the same plane but smaller.
Okay.
And I said, Jesus, that really looks like. And this guy Wild Bill was kind of like a famous bush pilot up there. A lot of people knew him. But I told Henry, I said, man, that sure looks like Large Marge, doesn't it? And the plane, and you can look this up if you can Google it or whatever. But so the plane right in front of us, the engine failed. And in having an engine failure, Wild Bill, they think had like a heart attack or something.
Oh my gosh.
We watched that plane crash like maybe 10 miles from us, but we watched him come across the sky and augured it, and he crashed right there.
Wow, dude.
And we watched that, and it was
That's
just
insane.
like, yeah. And then it wasn't until the next day, because I came back and I said, man, we just watched the plane. I swear it was Wild Bill, because there's not many planes like that in Alaska.
Yeah.
Then it wasn't until like the next day in the newspaper, there it was, NC 107, whatever,
Yeah,
Wild Bill. And like I watched my buddy crash, like whatever that was, 10, 12 years later, but it was just
insane.
Yeah, that's a crazy
story.
That's my Nicolas Cage story, even though it's not.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But anytime anybody says Nicolas Cage, I have to tell that story.
Yeah. I've always been a Nicolas Cage fan. What's your favorite Nicolas Cage movie?
Oh gosh darn it. I did like Face Off.
I was gonna say Face Off, but then I was gonna say Gone in 60 Seconds. So I'm not.
I don't even know if I saw that, but what was the one where he was I don't think I've seen that.
You've never seen Gone in 60 Seconds?
I don't think I have.
Oh, dude! Oh my God, you would love it.
Yeah. What was the one where
he love it, man? So there was an original movie back in the 70s, Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this one, he's got a Shelby Mustang, and man, this thing gets tore up, and it's not CGI. I mean, it's getting tore up.
Oh, real cool.
Yeah, and there's a couple jumps that are CGI, but as far as you see mirrors busted off and it flung around, and I mean, it's a badass movie, dude.
And like, I'm always I used to be way more against remakes, and that's probably why I didn't watch it.
Well, you would like it. I guarantee you'd like it.
What was the one? What was it called? Man of War, when he was the arms dealer. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, I saw that one. I think I saw that one twice, and that one was pretty cool. That was pretty.
I love Face Off. And Travolta was awesome. Travolta was awesome. Face Off.
That's one of the better John Travolta movies too, except for maybe Michael.
Papa's got a brand new bag.
Yeah.
Papa's got a brand new. Remember that where he's lighting the cigarette?
Yeah, that was a cool movie. Yeah, John Travolta. That's probably one of his best films that I like, except for Michael when he was the angel. I thought that was.
Well, I love Pulp Fiction too. Some people don't like it. I love Pulp Fiction.
I love Pulp Fiction, but I just never think of that as a John Travolta movie.
Yeah.
That's but yeah, that's Pulp Fiction is like way up there.
I love
the only thing, and I'm always into shit like this. People say I'm too critical, but like John Travolta's character is supposed to be like this hard ass killing machine, right? And he goes to the guy's house and he leaves his machine gun on the table when he takes a shit. That doesn't look. I am not a hitman, right? But like I take a gun in my own house when I take a shit.
Just us. No rules.
But you know what I mean? Like I take a shit with a gun in my own house with the door locked.
Yeah.
Right? And his character is gonna leave his fucking Mac 10.
Dude, Bruce Willis was awesome in it too, though, man.
Oh, it was great. Zed's dead, honey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Harvey Keitel was one of the coolest.
I've got to see it again. It's been so long since I've seen it. I loved it.
Man, The Wolf. You could have made a whole movie about. Well, you could have made another movie about just about anybody in there.
Oh yeah.
But The Wolf was definitely the fucking. Yeah. That guy was no bullshit.
Samuel Jackson was awesome in it.
Yeah. Gilster has a super awesome Samuel L. Jackson from that film, Custom.
Oh, cool.
It's super cool. I think maybe Mr. B made it for him. I'm not positive. Okay. But you'll have to get Gilster on Instagram.
Yeah, for sure.
Send me a fucking picture of that.
Yeah, I want to see that.
It's super cool. It's super cool. And there's one I just saw recently on eBay for like $35. you can buy, somebody's making that head fully painted with the Samuel Jackson, and he's got the sideburns and the afro.
Oh wow!
And like I think Mr. B made his, but now there's somebody who's producing them, you know, and you can buy.
I would love to get that figure and the John Travolta figure together.
Yeah. Awesome. And there's that there's a Nick Fury figure, Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, the one where he's got like a cat. I didn't see the movie, but there's like a cat in there with him.
Yeah.
And that's like the perfect. I think he's wearing a white shirt with the top. You know, he's got the Blues
He doesn't
Brothers.
have the eye patch yet.
Yeah, he doesn't have the eye patch, but you could easily pop that head off and get this head off eBay for $35 or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I'll send you the link for it, because even when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, well, that's too easy to make now."
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because like I wasn't gonna like Mod Podge and Afro and do all that, you know.
Yeah,
but for $30,
yeah,
why not? So.
Oh yeah.
Well, hey, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got to work tomorrow, but excellent.
Yeah.
Always excellent
This was
to see you.
This was fun, man. I wish the episode would have been a little better, but the episode was fun.
Yeah, I mean, it moved along the story. I mean, it didn't really move the story along, but we're just waiting. We
got a couple extra pieces to the puzzle. Like I said, we know that May is an evil little girl.
Holy shit, awful.
And we know that it's about witches, which we weren't sure about. You know, I mean, we kind of were.
I was pretty sure about that from the trailers. Yeah. I was pretty sure about it.
And we know why she has the tattoo thing on her head, and
right.
she doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So we learned that. Yeah, I mean that's about all we really learned on this one, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary, but
yeah,
I just kept waiting for something to happen.
And the floating man was Endara's Padawan, which was interesting.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I didn't there. I guess we should have seen that one coming just because we know the ages and how far people were along, but yeah, never gave that much thought.
You know that that guy that plays that character was from Game of Thrones. He was the young king or whatever.
Oh, I just saw that the other day. And I did not know that until I saw that.
That recently. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who's your favorite character on here so far?
Gosh, I
feel like you're going to say
Saul.
something. Yeah, that's what I was
going
to say too. I really like him a lot.
Yeah, Saul is the only one that's like, the actor is acting really cool. He
feels like a Jedi.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. He is more Jedi than any of the rest of them. He is fucking cool. And he reminds me of Qui-Gon.
Yeah,
he reminds me of Qui-Gon way more than and I always thought Qui-Gon was like, man, Qui-Gon, I want to see more Qui-Gon. He was
me too. Yeah, me too.
You know, and like that was my appeal to Dooku also, you know, like Dooku started thinking for himself and he wasn't fully dark, you know, and he was playing Sidious. He was trying to play Sidious, you know, and he couldn't. And I think Sidious knew that, so he had to off him. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was ridiculous. But yeah, man.
That was episode. Was it episode 2?
I think it was the end of 2.
Where Obi-Wan's like hovering in that thing, like suspended in the air, and he's his prisoner. Prisoner, and Dooku's kind of talking to him like that a little bit.
Yeah, and he's like, "What would you think if I told you that the Senate was under the power of a Dark Lord of the Sith?"
Yeah, he was kind of giving him some hints.
Yeah, I think if Obi-Wan would have listened more and gone along with him, or if Qui-Gon was alive, I think that's what he was trying to do. I think he was, you know, Dooku was the only real separatist. You know, that's what he was the only real separatist who was trying to figure shit out. And then there was it a Clone Wars episode where Sidious, who was at Yaddle, follows either Sidious or Dooku back and catches Dooku talking to Sidious, and she of course knows that it's Palpatine, right? Yaddle is like the first person that ever actually knew besides Dooku.
Yeah.
And then Sidious made Dooku kill her, but through that whole episode, you could tell, and that whole fight, you could tell that he didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, because he wasn't, and they say that, oh, that's when Dooku really went dark. But I don't think he did. I think that was something he had to do in front of Sidious to keep up his his mirage.
Right.
Because I think Dooku's whole plan was to overthrow Sidious and actually bring about peace to the galaxy. And we get that in that speech, like you were talking about, that speech where he's trying to tell Obi-Wan, he says, I wish your master was here, you know, because he knows Qui-Gon was a more level-headed, you know, because the Jedi is a dogma, just like anything else. Like we've seen that. They have a issue with opening up to other ideas.
Yeah.
And that's not a good quality, you know. Yeah. Even though you wear white and you're the good guy and everything, if you can't adjust and adapt and overcome, you know, you'll get fucking, your shit's gonna go down bad, you know. Yeah. And that's where, and then like Luke, like that's kind of how Luke was, right? When he showed up in Jedi with the all black and he was fucking ready to fucking get shit done, right? Yeah. He was ready to get shit done, knowing that deep down it's not gonna change him. You know?
Right.
Just like we were talking about earlier.
He's a Jedi like his father before him.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I love that scene, man. I love that scene.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, fucking that's why Jedi. So a lot of people don't like Jedi.
I love that scene, dude.
But Jedi is a fucking great. The special edition is not that fucking great, in my opinion. Because they kind of fucking kitted it up for people and stuff, you know. Yeah. But the real one, man, it's nothing but serious shit, you know. Because that's what it's all about. It's all about Luke, you know, and like he's not. Brett had a great interview with Lex, and she asked him, "What's your favorite character?" And he says Luke, but he expounds on it. You got to watch it. But he expands on it, saying, you know, the journey of Luke going from, well, you know, I'm not such a bad pilot myself, you know, and all that kind of stuff, to
being sure of himself.
Yeah, to being a real, a badass. And even in like Empire, you know, he still wasn't there yet, you know.
He's gangster though when he walks into Jabba's palace.
Oh yeah, he knows.
He's talking to Bid Fortuna or whatever, you know, he's like, you serve your master well.
Yeah.
And for this you'll be rewarded. It's like you're full of shit. You just walking your way in here, you know. It's like,
oh, dude, yeah. And then he gives old art. It's time for business, mother-fucker.
The job that's like, your Jedi mind tricks won't work on me, you know. And Luke's like, well, however, you know, like I'm still, you know, like, you know, like he didn't care, you know, like he was that sure of himself.
Yeah, he was badass. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, you got to watch that interview. Lex does a lot of interviews, but there's a lot of people like her. You know, we're trying to bring these communities together.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot, like, I always thought that, like, not that we're the only community, but we're pretty fringe, you know? But then I keep finding out, like, wow, there's these whole other groups that are even more fringe.
That's what I try to tell people, and I've been saying this for years. Like, some people in the community, I don't know, it's almost like it's a competition or something, and it doesn't have to be.
Oh, no, not
YouTube
at all.
is big enough for everyone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's huge.
Yeah.
YouTube is huge.
Yeah. And it's not like you, like, because we both watch, you know, other people, and we're YouTube, not just, I guess, creators, but we're also people who watch it, right? And it's not like you have a limited amount of, you can only subscribe to 5 people, you know? And so, there's some people out there that really look at it as a competition, and they're like,
I don't see it that way. I see it as, you know, it's a community. We're meeting all new people. We're having a good time, but there's enough room for everyone.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The only thing we ever have to fucking, and you know, there's a lot of us that are good about it. Rum is one of the best, you know, like if you watch any of his, like Lego studs or anything like that, you'll hear him say when it gets, he'll be like, look, you know, Ed is on in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I could sit here all day, but let's all go see Ed or, you know,
It's
whoever.
Yeah.
Somebody the other day, they were upset that like somebody got their review out before they did, you know, and it's like, and you know what? If that is a big issue for somebody, they could reach out and say, hey, look, can you not do your review on this whatever tonight? Can you? Because I really want mine to be first. Because most of us would be like, yeah, whatever. You know, I only get 30. I only get 30 views per video anyway.
The way I see it, like, is like when we do a review on something, though, everybody has their own take on it.
Right.
Like I just pulled up this Quick Kick. Like we do a review on Quick Kick, and you immediately have a 30-minute story about Bruce Lee that nobody else is going to talk about.
Exactly.
I mean, just for instance, you know what I mean? Just for instance, it's like we all, you know what I mean? I kind of feel like it's like if you're going to do a review, it's Lax Siverak's review on this action figure.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And nobody else, you know, if Rebels does a review on the same action figure, I guarantee it's not going to be the same video.
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
But then, I mean, there's some people, and I don't want to like make anyone sound bad or anything like that. But you know, there's some people that will do a review where they're like, well, you know, it's Hip does this, and it's like, I don't even care. You know what I mean? Like, I more care about the character, and you know, if it looks like him, and you know what I mean? Like, it's more like personal like that to me than, you know, if he's got, you know, butterfly shoulders or, you know, any of that stuff. I mean, they all articulate, you know what I mean?
Right,
it's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, I'm more into the figure itself, you know. The meat
when
potato,
I get the idea for like a custom, you know, and like I see like different people show their stuff, you know, and like that oh my god, like that Snake Eyes body, you know.
Yeah.
Like somebody just showed that randomly in a stream. And then I got to thinking about the Nick Fury, and I looked at the Spider-Man Noir, and I found that trench coat, and I said, hey, you know, that Snake Eyes body might work. So then I go
looking at it for a whole nother reason.
Yeah, then I look at him for a whole other reason, and I'll go find everybody that we know who did a review on them. I'll go watch people who we don't even know, and I'll watch their review. I just Connor today, right? I've been looking at different Joes for my Howling Commando.
Yeah.
And so I go through your channel, and I go through Fuller's Figures, and I go through G-Force and Scuba. Well, not Scuba because he doesn't do the classifieds, but I went through everybody who I knew offhand. I said, oh, I know he collects these. And I go back through all their videos, you know, from even like a year ago in the first line, and I watch it again, you know?
Yeah.
Because now I'm looking at it in a different will that work? Oh, it might work. You know, but then I go somewhere else. I go, okay, well, I couldn't get a good scale on how that figure looked compared to, you know, a different Joe standing next to him. So then I go to another one, you know, and so like, So I don't know. It's definitely
everybody does their reviews different too. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, like I want to hear what somebody's take is on it. You know what I mean? Like more than what the figure is. Like, I mean, like you had said before, you could listen to some of us just talk about whatever, you know what I mean? Because you like, and I like hearing people's point of views on certain figures and stuff. You know, they might say something, I might look at that figure completely different afterwards. You know, be like, damn, Black had a point, man. I could do this, or you know, set it up this way. You know,
that Spider-Man, that Spider-Man Noir figure, it's kind of old, and I never really knew it existed. And one day, Vern showed a custom that he did. I think it was Flint, the one that comes with the beret. That's Flint, right? So he put Flint's head with the beret on that body, and he said, oh, this is like my secret agent. You know, I like to use the word cloak and dagger because I was by my World War II granddad, and it was, you know, there was no like special forces or anything. It was cloak and dagger, you know. But I saw that figure, and I was like, what fucking figure is that? And like I had to message him again, and I was like, what's that? He was like, oh, that's a Spider-Man Noir, this and that. And I immediately had to go find one because I was like, that is like the perfect cloak and dagger body, and anybody's head can go on it. I just happened to put, and his Flint with the black beret looked great, you know. Yeah. And if I could find Flint's black beret, I would probably put it on Nick Fury, because that to me was always like the cloak and dagger, the trench coat with the like the guy, the colonel who comes to get Rambo. I can't remember. You know, like that's the character, dude. Like that is the quintessential cloak and dagger special ops look from when I was a kid. You know, now they're probably, you know, they have beards and weird sunglasses and all, but like that's not my generation shit, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and then like Fuller, I watched Connor Fuller's today. I went through like almost every G.I. Joe that he did that I had an idea that might work for a custom I have.
Yeah.
And he did the Big Ben figure, which
Yep,
is
I've got
super
that
hard
one.
to fucking find now, by the way.
I have him. Yeah, I haven't opened him yet. He's one of the ones I've got hanging up still.
Dude, I think it's still on Hasbro Pulse for like the $24. But if you go on eBay or whatever, like it's like 40, 50, 60 bucks.
Wow.
That's obviously a pretty sought after figure that people
But
cannot
he was
find.
a Walmart exclusive. He was one of the Walmart
Oh,
exclusives.
is that why?
Okay. And he's from Night Force. Yeah, Night Force. There's the Night Force stuff is.
They're not easy to find. Well, Connor, he did that review, and then he put on the excuse me. He put on that gas mask head.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, because he's from Ireland, right? And he was like, yeah, you know, when I was a kid, we were watching the Iran-Contra shit. And when we saw the SAS go in on that airplane, and he said, this reminded me of like the Action Force SAS guy. And then he like showed a picture from the 70s of those guys. And I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. And like, you know, to me, I was like, oh, the gas mask. I don't really, you know, I'm not into that. But the fact that Connor put the picture up of the guys that he watched on the news in the 70s when he was a kid, and and then it meant more to me even. I went, oh, that's fucking cool. Because he had this personal connection to it, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was rad. But it's just like what you say. Everybody, if I'd have reviewed that figure, I might not even have showed the gas mask because it don't, you know, I'm not, it's just not my thing. But when he showed it, I was like, wow, that is cool, you know? And like, if I need, you know, 70s SAS army, like, there's the guy to fucking build it up. Shit.
For sure. Yeah.
But, yeah, man, it's a cool community.
I love it, dude. I love it. I try to, like I said, I try to catch everybody's lives. I try to catch as many videos as I can. A lot of times I listen to work. You know, I got the earpods in, I listen to work and stuff, but I enjoy it a lot, dude. It's
me
something
too.
I've been doing it for about 4 years. And I've met so many cool people, and it's like it's so much fun. And
it's a blast.
It is. Where else can you hang out? You know, with people from all over the world.
Oh, I know, right?
Talking about toys. I mean, it's insane.
And you know what? A lot of us, you know, don't just fucking have to talk about toys either.
No, there's all kinds of other stuff we've got going on.
I mean, like John Joker telling us his John Wayne story.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, it was cool. It was
cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. No, we know Zombie. Zombie is on everybody's stream all the time.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah, man. No, it's great. It's great. But and you know what? There is the few who do think it's a competition, and I just I don't, you know, and like I don't dislike them for it, but I do try to say it's not a competition, you know what I mean? Like
I mean it's such a huge platform. It's such a huge platform. There's so many people doing this.
Yeah.
You know
the only competition is you as a creator against YouTube's algorithm. Like that's the only thing that you have to try to beat, you know, and like when I did the review of the last 2 episodes, like that, because it's in the now, it's pertinent. That's how you get into the algorithm, you know, and like I'll never get that with figures because I don't go pre-order every figure. I don't have the figure first. It takes me a year, 2 years to go, oh, you know, that figure might work for this custom, so I'll buy it, you know. But to be in that algorithm, I think, and to be fresh on everybody's shit per YouTube, you gotta be like, I'm the first one with this, you know.
I kind of just tried to stop figuring out the algorithm. I just kind of do my own thing, you know, just have fun with it. Like, you know, we did that Sandusky motorcycle show that we went to a couple weeks ago.
That was awesome.
And that video, me and Blue Eyes are on the cover or on the thumbnail of the video in front of a Harley shop. And it's like, I posted that a couple weeks ago. It's already got 1,000 views.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's like, it had nothing to do with toys or anything. You know, I mean, it was just a video, you know, that, hey, we're here, you know.
Well, and the algorithm, because you probably hashtag motorcycles and stuff.
Something. Yeah, probably.
You know, like my work videos are awful. They don't get any views. The only people that watch it are like true fans of LAC who go and check. But I did not, because when I was working, like, you're not supposed to be posting shit and like all that shit, you know what I mean? So like I didn't hashtag Alaskan Ice Road Truckers.
Right.
But I bet you if I did, all of a sudden, because that motorcycles and like Alaska and like there's some shit out there that will blow up, you know.
Oh yeah.
And like when you do an Acolyte review video 1, 2, 3 days after the episode, that will get pushed into the YouTube streams, you know. But if you do, here's my customs from the Hitman from the 1968 film Bullet, like 30 people are gonna watch that, you know. And it goes.
But you know what though? Some of those videos that don't get a lot of views are some of the ones I'm more proud of. You know, like I really enjoyed doing this video, and that's why I'm doing it, bro.
Yeah, me
too.
I mean,
like I can go back later on and look at it and enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. It's almost like a diary. You know what I mean? Of my life. You know, the past 4 years.
Yeah, especially when you get into like motorcycles and swords and
I mean, you do everything that I'm into. I just kind of throw in it, you know. And it's like if people enjoy it, they do. You know, I mean, I know some people watch it, you know. And I enjoy.
Well, you know, those videos, at least like on mine, right? Like that Acolyte review, I can have 300 views, and there's just a few comments, and some of them are from people we don't know telling me I'm a shill piece of shit that I like the show. But when you get like my Alaska videos or like the stuff that's kind of like your motorcycle stuff or your reptile stuff, like your true friends watch it,
it out.
And you get like for every view you get a comment because those people are actually engaged with what the fuck you're doing, right? And so that that to me is one of the coolest things.
Me too. Me too.
I love that. I love comments,
interaction.
The interaction is
people actually enjoying it, and I dig it too.
And I always try to do that too, because like if people enjoy it half as much as I do, I want to do that too. I want to say that was a fucking cool video. I liked Exhibit A better than B, or whatever, because like Dean, he did his Ecto one and he compared it to the Playmobil one and the vintage one, and he's like, which one do you fucking like the most? And like that's cool. Like he wants that engagement.
So he wants somebody to
I'll agree with you, Dean. I think the Playmobil one is way cooler.
Yeah. All the friends I made on YouTube, absolutely,
exactly.
Absolutely, Zombie Hunter.
Yeah, that's where it's at, man. That's where it's at. Yeah, I love it. Well, I won't keep you too long. We're almost at the 2
brother.
mark. I'm gonna try and make a video on this guy before I go to bed so I can upload it tomorrow.
That's cool. You have to like shine a light behind it so we can see through it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That'd be neat.
I need to go get my flashlight and do that.
That'd be kind of cool. Or just put it up by a lamp or something, maybe. Just so we can see through it a little bit. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I need to do that. I'm glad you said that. I might not have thought to do that. That's awesome.
But I enjoy your videos, man. I always try to watch them.
Man, I enjoy yours too, man. And we'll have to do a Sword Sunday at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I gotta get some. I don't have any. I need to get some targets. That's my problem.
Now. I'd like to do that too. Go outside, cut up some bottles and stuff.
Yeah, bottles filled with water is like the best. I learned that from all the like hardcore sword guys I watch.
Yeah.
And like that's
I'd like to learn how to axe throw too, like how you do the axe throwing. That's cool.
Oh man, it's not that hard to. It's a lot easier to learn the tomahawk than knives.
Okay.
Yeah, at least
that's cool.
Yeah. Now I've been throwing a tomahawk since I was younger, and like the knife, I haven't been, so that might be part of it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's a lot.
It's all about balance and.
Yeah, and you got to get once you learn the rotation. Then you can start to like back up and know how much harder or softer you need to throw it to make sure it's in the right spot before you get.
And I don't think I could ever do your sledgehammer trick either.
Oh well, you got to practice. And look, when I was like 6 or 7 years old, my dad did that.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, "You ain't a man unless you can do that." And so you better believe, since I was like 6 years old. And I started off with like a regular like 20-ounce claw hammer. Lack, and then I went to like a hatchet, and I went to like and built up,
Yeah.
But that's
have you ever had any close calls doing that? Have you ever hit yourself a little too hard?
No. I've never hit myself, and that's only because like once you get to a certain point,
Yeah.
You know that you can't do it.
Yeah.
And like that point is right before you
do
can.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and,
I get
and it's just something you got to feel. But yeah, you get to that, you get there and you go, nope, I'm going to go down a couple pounds and keep doing it I'm going to keep
That's
doing
crazy.
16
I know it's
pounds.
definitely taking some time to learn how to do that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been doing it since I was
Yeah.
like 6, man,
That's insane.
starting
That is
off.
insane.
And I try to go out there and do it every day. I do my mace workout and fucking. You remember the Iron Sheik? You remember when he had those big wooden clubs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do those. I don't have big wooden ones. I have like metal.
Now, I'll tell you something that I am good at that nobody knows. I'm going to blur it out right now.
Let's hear it.
Is I can twirl nunchucks pretty fast.
Oh no shit.
Yes, and the reason why, my dad back in the day when we were kids, man, and I vaguely remember my mom and dad getting in any arguments. Like I vaguely remember because I was little. But they would, get in like a small argument, and you would hear my dad outside, and they would be whistling, like you could hear it. And he made these like homemade ones, right, with a chain, with chain, wood bars, or wood sticks, and he'd be twirling real fast, right. And so I started wanting to learn how to do it, and I remember my dad said, "You're going to hit yourself in the head a couple times," and I did, But once you got smacked in the head a couple times with that, your rhythm increases, And now I can move around probably as fast as he could.
Oh well, we want that video, Ed.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it.
Nunchuck Thursdays, man. Whatever.
Yeah, I never told anybody, but yeah, I'm pretty quick with it. I've got a couple.
That's
pairs.
super cool, man.
Yeah, I got a couple pairs. Yeah,
that's cool. And anybody else listening in the chat or on the rewatch, if you have a channel and you do something strangely cool like that, fuckers, we want to see it.
Yeah.
We want to see it.
All right.
Yeah, I've never done nunchucks and would be kind of.
There's something. They are very intimidating in the very beginning.
I can
if you give them to anybody and you're like, hey, try it out, they're like, oh, okay, and they do, a little bit, you know what I mean? But they're paranoid because that one smack, you're gonna hit yourself.
Oh, you're gonna know. I would definitely take my glasses off.
Yeah, you're gonna hit yourself a couple times. Yeah. But once you get that hit, it's like muscle memory, and that's not gonna happen again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
I'm pretty quick with them. Yeah, I'm pretty quick with them.
That's awesome. Well, I want to see
have to make a video sometime.
Yeah, do that.
I know you got me singing in a video one time, so I'm gonna have to do the nunchuck.
Yeah.
I'm missing your songs, man. You should do those again.
I know. I need to get over this cold I got, but
yeah,
I've been trying.
I think you still owe Blue Eyes another song. I think
I do, and it's after I told her that I got a cold, and I haven't even been. I just been. It's been. I'm getting over it now, though. So, but I've been keeping Mucinex in fucking business the last couple weeks, So doing my part for the pharmaceutical companies.
Zombie Hunter says, "It's not my head I'm worried about. It's downstairs. It's gonna hurt." Yeah.
I can see that. Well, wear a cup.
Smack yourself. You can definitely smack yourself in the nuts too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, brother, I'm gonna hop off here, man. I appreciate you hanging out with me.
Hey, yeah, man. I appreciate you having me, man. And then everybody, me and Brett will be on tomorrow, so look for that thumbnail. And then Rick at Left Coast Graphics will have his review the next day, Thursday, I believe. Him and Vern, and I think maybe Sir Eric. I'm not real sure who his guests are, and that's the thing. Like, I watched it. We did a review. Me and Brett are gonna do a review, and like I'll be over there listening to Rick's too, because it's
because everybody's got a different take on things,
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice to hear everyone's take on it. So,
yeah. Somebody last week told me something about the first 2 episodes, and I went back and I rewatched them, and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? He is right.
Yeah.
He's totally right. He's totally right about that, and I hadn't thought about it. You know. So yeah, it's good to fucking hear it. It's good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, I'll see you around.
I'm about 90% sure that I won't be doing a live tomorrow if we go to that barbecue after I get off work. But I will try to hop on to you guys if I can, if I get a chance to.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll.
I may just hop on for a minute on my phone at the barbecue or something. Say, hey guys.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We'll do show us all the grub and shit.
All right. Well, everybody, love you all. Thanks for watching. Until next time, have fun collecting. Rebels no rules.
Rebels no rules.
Thanks, buddy. All right, y'all have a good night. See you, buddy.
All right. Love to the family, bro.